Hello everybody, this is Josh Explain Place, and today we continue to grow, expand and improve our city of New Paris in Cities Skylines 2 in this episode number 9. And previously we explored the China region pack and we built this really nice neighborhood, but today we are gonna try the American Northeast and Southwest region packs. So let's begin. Thankfully, the latest update to this game has done a lot of good things for it. First of all, the game runs a little bit better, and in my experience, the game has a lot less. Um, it just doesn't randomly stop, right? So I think it's working better, and that's the reason why now we can continue to work on our city. And we're gonna try the last region pack, or the last two region packs, which are the Southwest and Northeast region packs, American region packs. First of all, I think the city is doing really well. Also, with the new update, things have changed a little bit, so you need to be aware that maybe some of the um, economy has changed, so make sure that you're still making enough money. I think we are doing well in terms of taxes and services. Let's make sure that everything is to 100. It's okay with garbage being at 80. Fire, police, parks. Again, our city has grown already to a good size, which is around 50,000 people, so we usually don't have issues regarding budget when we are this big. Also, as I always recommend, let's take a look at electricity. So we're doing well in terms of production, and we are exporting electricity, which is helping us also a lot. And this is a thing that people need to consider when you are starting a new city. Once your city starts growing, maybe after a couple thousand people, you need to start investing on a power plant. Also, we're gonna take a look at water. Also, with water, we're doing well in terms of water and sewage. And of course, last but not least, let's do education, which again, we need a lot of elementary schools, and we need to finally build a college and university. We'll see how we do in this episode, considering we're gonna be focusing a little bit more in the Northeast and Southwest region pack. So we have enough money. I'm gonna speed up the game just a little bit. In terms of demand, we have a lot of demand for commercial, industrial, and office. And thankfully, commercial does include Southwest low density businesses, as well as Northeast low density businesses, and a Southwest low density offices. So we're gonna be able to work on that. Now let's try to figure out where we can create our Southwest and Northeast neighborhoods. And I think that maybe we can work something on this side and maybe on this side. We don't know. Right, so let's see what we can do. Is there a reason why we're not using this one? I think it's pollution. It's not that bad, but it might start being with the incinerator plant. So we need to make sure we take a look at it. And the reason why I think we're kind of not gonna have a lot of car roads for these two new region packs is because, well, newest region packs, I think it's because they don't work as well to showcase them, right? It's not as good to showcase them that way. So we're gonna see there's a lot of traffic in here. Trying to figure out why. There's a lot of people still moving into this area, which is good. You know, this little tool helps the traffic routes. Kinda what SimCity 4 had, right? But I think this is a little bit better. Also, I forgot to complain about it. I do wish in here we had a graph, like again we used to have in SimCity 4, that would tell us our electricity production and divide it as to what's producing what. For example, in here, as far as I can remember, we only have this incinerator plant, but let's say we added this turbine, and let's just put it in here for now. So I wish there was a way for the game to tell us, hey, you're producing 2% of your electricity, because this one is producing 16 and this one is going to produce 9, almost 9, so that's more than 50%. So yeah, I wish there was a little graph, a pie chart, to tell us what is it that we are producing. Again, it's just difficult to consider this game more of a city management when that doesn't happen. We have a lot of cool statistics in here, but sometimes they're not that useful. For example, if I'm not mistaken, it's with trade, yeah. This one gets a little bit messy, so of course, you know. So let's try to figure out where we can add our new neighborhoods, and maybe we can do it here. I think there's enough space, and in here, if we remember correctly, and let's, you know what, let's do it really quick. Let's put a little area or a little zone to name it. We can do it like this, right? Yeah, it should be fine. We usually, I don't mess with zoning like this, because I personally don't think that it helps a lot, but in this case we're gonna do the Eastern Europe region. There you go. That's that. And sure, I don't think we had anything planned for this site. I mean, it's been a while. There's a little bit of agricultural. There's also some agriculture in here. Let's see if we can try to do it in here. This has been a local public service announcement. You know what, it's fine. We can import. So let's buy this little tile. Great. And the way that we are gonna work with these blocks is, let's first of all take a look and see how wide these are. So these are 6, 7, 8, 9, because we had a little back street, which again doesn't really work the way it's expected. So what we are gonna do first and foremost, which also lately I've been noticing a lot of issues with roads. Sometimes even plopping down a mailbox can mess things up. A mailbox or something. So, and I hope this can get fixed a little bit. It's not as flat as I expected, but we're still good to go to continue our our neighborhood. So let's continue doing this. This and this one here, and this one is pretty much done. And for our northeast, which is going to be on this side, the right side, and on the left is going to be the southwest, we are going to do blocks of 8 squares. That's going to help us, and you'll see why in a little bit. What I have experienced also with the, I think it's more the southwest than anything else, is issues when you are zoning and the zones, that the buildings that get built with those zones sometimes don't act right, and you'll see what I mean later when we're building this, right? So I'm gonna do this, and so for now I'm gonna leave it like this, and it should be fine. Again, this is not the ideal situation that I would like to have my little neighborhood in, but again, we're only showcasing what this has to offer. And you know what, let me add another little block in here, and we're getting closer to the train tracks, and that's gonna be fun. Okay, so first and foremost, as always, another complaint that I have, I wish these little icons were divided by that type of zone, and I wouldn't mind this extending a little bit more. For example, I only want the low density zonings. I can't have that, right? I just want the medium density. I want the mixed density. Well, tough luck. Okay, so first and foremost, we're gonna do the commercial zones. Even though it's not that green, I think it's fine to put it in here. So we're gonna do, and we're gonna pause the game really quick because we don't want anything to build. So we have the southwest commercial zones here, and the northeast commercial zones there. And we also have the southwest low density offices. Okay, so we're able to zone in here commercial, offices, and we're gonna leave this open for now. We're gonna go back into the residential zones, and we're gonna click on the, first of all, we're gonna do the southwest back. We have the low density housing, we have the medium density row housing, the medium density housing, the mixed housing, and the high density housing. So that's gonna be 5. So let's do low density in here. We're gonna do medium density row housing here. We're gonna do regular medium density here. We're gonna do mixed housing in here, and we're gonna do high density housing in this area. So again, we have low density, which is this one. We have row housing, which is this little one. We have medium density housing, which is this block. We have mixed housing, and we have high density housing, right? And now we're gonna go to the northeast, which has medium density row housing, which is gonna be these ones, medium density housing, mixed housing, and high density housing. The only thing that this one is missing is the low density, which makes a little bit more sense because you kind of know that the northeast area is a little bit more medium density and up, as opposed to the southwest, in which I'm gonna add, Texas to it, right? And there's a lot of suburbs, a lot of low density housing. So I'm gonna do something else, which is to lower the taxes to try to get people to move. Again, the budget is completely fine, even though we owe some money. So let's try to pay. Let's pay half of it, which is 600,000. Okay. And let's see, for now, what grows in this area. And I believe you're gonna like it. So let's take a look. And while we wait for this to build a little bit more, let's add, I think that's what we need to entice more people to come here, is to add more industrial, and we'll add the chemical plant later. Yeah, so that's gonna be enough to drive demand a little bit more. Right? I mean, overall, our city is looking really nice. I mean, it's by the river, which you need in order to get some water and trade, or at least that's the way it used to be. And we have this really cool ocean that unfortunately we cannot take advantage of. But again, that's a run for another video. So let's start to take a look at some of the newer buildings, and let's add a little bit more industrial in here because there's more demand for it. And again, I think that's going to help us have more people moving into our city, more demand for residential, though they're asking for more residential low density. Okay, and that should be enough for right now, I think. Okay, good. As you can remember, we have the low density southwest commercial buildings in here, which are actually really, really cool. I think they work really well. Some glitches aside, right? If you live in the southwest, and again, I'm gonna consider Texas to be southwest, Houston to be southwest, Dallas to be southwest, which is where I've lived. You can see very similar buildings. Of course, it's not gonna be the same if you live in Colorado or Arizona or any of those places, right? It's still different. But a lot of these buildings, you know, you're gonna feel familiar with. This is the commercial. I think they're looking rather nice. They're okay. I mean, I'm partial to them. Again, this really cool glitch. I mean, I guess it's all signs. We also have the offices, which, you know, a little bit generic and there are not that many. But overall, I think they add something new into the landscape, into the diversity of architectural styles. I can see something like this being a medical plaza. I know this isn't, but I can see that happen. And now let's take a look at the low density housing. Again, this is gonna be a hit or a miss depending on where you live and not, but you could say pretty much, you know, this is what you're gonna be finding in a lot of United States cities, little cities, large cities, these type of houses. You know, you have your garage, you have your what they call ranch style housing, Oh, this one has a really nice garage in here. I don't know where the entrance is at. It's here. I do like this a lot. I think these are great if you're gonna build like smaller suburbs, which is something that we're gonna do in our future city. But I do think that these are two very distinct and very different architectural styles within the same region pack. That I wish would be different because, I mean, now that we're experiencing gentrification a lot more, sure, you can have this quote unquote newer modern style housing next to a regular older style housing, but I don't think that's not as organic as I would like, right? I mean, you can have a lot of these type of houses next to each other, but I think that when you go like this, it's a little bit more modern. And when you are building your city, developing your city, you kinda, the more realistic and organic approach would be like they're all looking the same, especially where with subdivisions, right? That houses look almost the same, very similar. But if we ignore that issue that I feel these houses look really nice. They're not what you would see in most Texas cities, but they're very similar, right? Like for example, at least for the 90s and early 2000s, having brick was a big deal, and not all of these houses do have it. Little accents and everything, but a lot of houses are just uh, they're just brick on the outside, right? So again, I like this. I think that it's a good representation. I think of the Southwest. I've looked into some pictures and videos and whatnot, but in this case, yeah, I wish these two different styles would be separated because again, I want to have a subdivision that's only full of these type of ranch style houses, and the other one a little bit more modern. But I think it works really, really well. We are waiting on the row housing because we have no demand for medium density housing, or in here for regular medium density. I think this is the only one. And sure, again, more of the newer style apartments are like this. Again, at least in cities like Austin, Houston, and Dallas. And now we're gonna go into the mixed housing. And again, these are a lot more common nowadays, and I think they also look really nice. For me, this type of architecture in general, it's a little bit kind of generic and not that interesting. But to see it here depicted so well, I think it's great. You have your shops at the bottom and you have your apartments at the top, which I think it's great for any city. And finally, we have the high density buildings, which again they look nice. They're okay. Unfortunately, in here, not a lot of different styles developed. But as we continue building New Paris and whatever next city we're gonna have, which is also gonna be an American style city, unlike this one, which is a little bit trying to be a little bit more European, a little bit different. But we have really cool buildings like this, and this I think is the best example of a type of building that definitely a lot of US cities have, especially if they're somewhat older and a little bit bigger. You're gonna find this type of architecture, which I like. I think that it looks really well. Some of the most famous buildings are, for example, um, the Book Depository in Dallas, that involves American President John F. Kennedy. But this type of architecture I love, I really like in real life, and the way that it's depicted in here, it's very nicely. I think the pattern for the brick looks really nice, and everything else just actually looks realistic, looks really nice. So in terms of this, and like this one too, which could be like an older building, which has, again, this one is a mixed one, which has businesses at the bottom and apartments on the top. I think that it looks very realistic and something that I would see even in the area in South Texas where I live, that it's, you can find those buildings, right? And now we're gonna go to the northeast, which is a whole lot more different. We have similar style of architecture in here to the ones that we had for the southwest, of course, but I think it's a little bit different. And I still think you can find this type of architecture in any city, right? Of course, northeast, it's an older area. You're gonna find older buildings, but I think you're gonna find a lot of similar stuff. I do like it. The Northeast, I would consider, I've only been to New York, so if you've been to New York or watch any videos or look at any pictures, I think that it looks similar, right? Of course, it all depends where you go to, it all depends the area, the city, the state. So, but I do think that, for example, these storefronts look really, really nice. And we're still with, yeah, we're still with commercial. This, I think, as opposed to the southwest, I think this looks really, really nice and extremely realistic too, especially for buildings like this, because you have the brick facade, you have the storefront that looks really cool, and you have these really nice sidewalks that go really well with those buildings. And I do believe they look really, really, really nice and a little bit more accurate and more realistic than that. Now, I'm going to do a little parenthesis in here and show you what I mean with there's issues with the zoning. So this one is a mixed zone, and we're having issues with the no car access. I don't understand why this is happening, but it is. We're gonna let it build, and then we're gonna take a look at it, right? In here, we don't have any, let me put it in here. We don't have any medium density demand yet, so we don't have anything for that. But we do have the mixed housing, which again looks really cool, very realistic, especially with buildings like this that I know for sure they're very northeastern. And it actually reminds me of a Lego set. I think it's the Firehouse. It's from their modular series, so they're a little bit larger, definitely more detail. So this reminds me of that, the brick, and the bottom being a little bit different. And again, I like these buildings. Right, they're really nice. And well, this is the medium, right? Yeah, correct. So this is the medium ones. These are the mixed buildings, which again, I think some of them are more modern, like this one, but still has a lot of brick. And the more contemporary ones, or the older ones, like these ones, right? And again, sometimes I feel like you could find these type of buildings in Dallas just as well as you can find them in somewhere in New Jersey or New York or whatever. So overall, I do think there's a difference, of course, because you can see it in here, right? You can see there's a difference between these buildings and these buildings. The only thing is that they're not exclusive to that zone, right? I know there can be like, okay, well, they're more distinct in this area, but I do feel like you can find them anywhere. And the only high density that we have in here is this one. It looks nice. If we look at the description of high density, it's just large apartment buildings. If you go to the high density, the regular high density, which is, I think I missed it. Well, it's gonna be this one because we're in the Europe one. Same large apartment buildings, no skyscrapers, of course, but that's over here with the Chinese one. But I think they look rather nice. They're not my favorite, but they look nice, and definitely we're gonna be creating a lot more. So this one is the issue that I see. I don't believe there's a reason why there should be access in this area or behind. So that's been a little bit of an annoyance when I'm playing in my other city, and this appears because you kind of want to do certain things and you can't. Right? So you can delete it again. It's gonna pop up, and I don't think this one's showing anything. So that's that. I'm gonna lower the speed. I'm gonna pay whatever's left of the loan. We're still making good money. And now we're gonna go through the different new buildings that we have. So we're gonna start. There's nothing on roads. Same for electricity or water, with the exception with this water tower, right? Which, let's try to put it in here. And let's put it in here. Okay. So now we have the water tower, and we have different upgrades. Sunglasses, which I think that's pretty cool. And you know what? Let's move this in here. I think this looks even better. We have a welcome sign displayed in here. Right. Welcome. That's great. And don't waste water, that we don't have this yet. I think that looks rather nice. And I think I'm gonna mistake. No, we're fine. Okay. So we're gonna see a little bit of the row housing, which is, I think, the standout for this region pack. I know we've had row housing before, but I think this approximates a little bit better what we have in the northeast, and we'll see as we continue, right? We're just gonna let it grow a little bit more. Okay. Now for the healthcare, we also have northeast and southwest. We're gonna put one of each in here. So Southwest Medical Clinic, I think it's a pretty cool clinic. We're gonna put it in here. Okay. It looks rather nice. It looks like something that I would actually see in here. It has an upgrade for more ambulances and a larger wing, extension wing. And we have the medical clinic, which we're gonna put in here. Again, this is a very distinct and very cool looking older building. I love it. I love the architectural design of it. I think that it works great, especially in that area. Again, we might have seen it in a different region that's not only the northeast, but that's how it goes. And this one actually also has extension wings, right? Which is fine. For this one, we also have the central hospital, which I'm not gonna build right now because we're gonna run out of money, but it looks amazing. We'll put it later on, but it just looks amazing. Definitely something that you would see. Even I think this reminds me a little bit more of the medical or the hospital in New Orleans, the one that closed. And same thing for the Northeast Hospital. Sorry, that was Southwest. Is for the Northeast. Again, really, really cool and nice designs. We'll place them in our next episode so we can get a little bit more money. They're just great. We don't have anything regarding death care. I do wish they would do smaller cemeteries, but that's a whole different thing. Or maybe something like we do with the industries that you can have a radius and that will be better. Again, there's nothing in here for garbage, but we're gonna start with the Southwest schools. And I think this is where these shine, where these region packs shine. So we're gonna start with this one. We're gonna start with the elementary school. And we're gonna place it here. And it definitely looks very, very Southwest. Something that I could see even close to me, right? It's really nice. It might not look like a school, but it is definitely a public elementary school. And you can upgrade this with, we're gonna do it right now, with an arts and music building, which is gonna be in here, with more classrooms, which are gonna be in here, and with an annex building, which we're gonna put, let's put it here. Okay. And I think this is also a great little school to add into your city, especially because with this, it's not a large footprint, and it looks actually really nice. And we have over 3,200 students, which is gonna help us greatly with our deficit, right? That it's almost 8,000. So the next one for Southwest is a huge, huge, huge building, and I'm gonna put it in here. Yeah, it's loading here. And I also love this high school. Again, this is definitely something that I've gone to, right? A very similar high school. It's large. It has a lot of space. You have the track field. You have, even though these basketball courts don't look right, and we'll see why in a bit. But at least at the beginning, you have the track field, which sometimes doubles as a football and soccer field. You have these other courts, and definitely something that you can see here in the US, right? It works really well. This one, it's meant to be a little bit more for the corner, and I understand. So that's that. So as is, it has a capacity of 1,200 students, and if we look into it, that's a lot. That's more than most of these high schools in here. So let's expand it, and we're gonna expand it with a library, which is gonna be here, which is gonna be great. We're gonna do a gymnasium, which is gonna be on top of where we will have the basketball court, which again makes sense. We also have small classroom buildings that you can build outside, and the large classroom building that we're gonna build in here. So this one has a capacity of 500 and the smaller one of 200. And yes, this is something that you will definitely see in at least Texas. This type of large areas or large zones to have your high schools. Right? It just great. Again, there's no reason why we don't have an option to have a football or a soccer stadium. I know we have these ones. I still disagree with how we use them, but we have that, right? And now we're gonna go on to the other side, and we're gonna plop down or build, first of all, an elementary school, which we're gonna put in here. And this might be one of my favorite buildings of both region packs. This is the type of architecture that I like, the type of American, quote unquote, American architecture that I like. I know it's not 100% American, but I love this building. I love the details. I love everything in here. It's a compact building. You have as default 1200 capacity of 1200 students, and we're gonna upgrade it to have 300 more, right? And that even gives it a little bit of a better look, or different look, right? So I'm in love. I know there's not many more additions that you can do to this, but again, considering the lack of space for the Northeast, I think this is great, and it's a beautiful building. It's one of my favorites. And last but not least, we are gonna have the high school. And again, this high school to me looks just really, really nice. Right? I think this is like a classic high school that you would see in movies. And this is what you think that a high school is, or at least an older American school would be. Right? This similar type of architecture. And the only upgrades we have are extension wings, right, which will make this a larger building. I'm not gonna do that because we have enough capacity, so I don't think that's an issue in here, right? So again, out of the 4 buildings, the 2 elementary schools, first of all, this is my favorite one. It's a beautiful building, which again, maybe you can repurpose in real life to have something else, because I know those buildings might not be suitable anymore for that. And this high school, mainly because I've been to one, or I attended one that looked just like this. So again, it's very, very, very realistic. So again, these 2 region packs, overall, they are winners. They are great. There's nothing else that we have in here for Northeast and Southwest, so we're gonna go to Fire and Rescue. And this is where we have very interesting buildings. Again, I'm not gonna build the larger stations because that's a lot of money. But let's do this one first, the Firehouse. Southwest Firehouse. Again, that's something very realistic, something that I would see around. Actually, this is something that I'm more than sure I could see if I go to Houston or San Antonio or Austin. Definitely good. Also, fire engine maintenance bay, which adds 4 more engines, which we're not going to do right now. And also we have this really nice fire station, which we're gonna just put in here. Right, really nice, really big. Again, we're not gonna build it right now, but that's what it is. And for the Northeast, I think it's my second favorite building, and it's just so close. And the reason being is because it's just like the Ghostbusters building, or very similar, basically because it's inspired on a real firehouse, right? So this is just, I think, an amazing ploppable building that you can have in here. It looks amazing. The detailing is amazing. The footprint is really small, which is why you only have 1 vehicle and you don't have any expansions. But it's just amazing. I'm also a little bit jealous of the people that were able to afford the Lego Ghostbusters Firehouse, because it was an amazing building. I do have the Ecto one, but that's everything. I love this building, and when you add it to this other one, I think you can see the love that these creators put into designing these buildings, right? They're just great. And the other one is a larger firehouse. um I like it. Nothing out of the ordinary in there. It's a smaller footprint, of course. It's taller. You have more engines, um, even a helipad expansion. So again, we'll see that as we grow our cities. Next, we're gonna go with the Northeast Police Station, which we're also gonna put in here. We're gonna put it next to the high school. I mean the medical clinic. Sorry. This is very similar to the firehouse. You know, similar architecture. I love the brick detailing in here. It's just beautiful. Again, uh, hats off to the creators, to the developers. Um, they just look amazing. This one does have an expansion for extra jail cells, which adds another patrol car. Um, and we can do that right now. Right, there's nothing there. Now there is. Pretty cool. I do like it. And there's also a larger, Northeast, a larger police headquarters, right? And again, we'll put that in a later video. These are very expensive buildings, which we don't have the money to do it. But again, I think in this case, both buildings are winners, both smaller buildings. The firehouse and the police station, they are winners. And when you have row housing like this, which look at it, looks really nice, and then buildings like this, it makes a lot of sense. Buildings like this, right? It makes a lot of sense. And now where are we gonna put them? Okay, we'll put them in here. So we're gonna go with the southwest, and we have the police station. Again, as you can already see that there's a difference in footprint size for these buildings. You have the southwest, which has a lot more area or space to expand, as opposed to the northeast, which is very limited. So you're already seeing the difference between this police station and this police station. And again, this is something that I can definitely see in a city near me here in Texas. This one has 6 patrol cars, and this one has 17, and you can add 8 more, and you can add extra cells, right? That it's in here. And look at the upgrade in here, right? So we're gonna do it. And we also have the larger police headquarters. These are really nice. Well, first of all, if you can see in here how if we place this down here, one of the buildings to the right is gonna disappear. That's something that's been happening lately. Even, let's see, we can, not this one, but maybe this. Like, there's no reason why this would happen, right? You're not doing anything. Let's do it in here, right? There's no reason why. I still don't get it, right? But that's the way it is. So again, this is very recommended, the Southwest, because it has a large garage, a large cell, helipad, and 30 patrol cars. So definitely to be added to your city once it keeps growing. Let's take a look at how much money we're making. We're fine. Something must have happened, but we're not gonna look into it right now. As you can see, everything has already populated. So let's go back to it. Well, first of all, let's finish. In here, we don't have anything for southwest, northeast buildings in here. We have nothing in here. It's mostly for the modern architecture and leisure venues. Nothing in here either, or in here. Nothing in here. In here we have the Dragon Gate, and definitely nothing in here. We also don't have any post offices, which I think would have been a good idea, just to add a post office that's a little bit larger. Not as large as this one, but I think honestly this post office just works really well. And again, nothing really major in here, right? We don't even go in there that much. So before we finish this video, let's go once more and take a look at all our zones in here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more low density in here, right? To see maybe we can lower this. First of all, we have the low density southwest commercial zones. I like them. Again, sure, it's something that I would see in this area. Again, this is not a Texas region pack, of course, but it's southwest, and you know, those regions are just difficult to place. But at least in this case, sure, I've seen some of these buildings in here. It's fine. This glitch is actually pretty cool. Doesn't really matter much. But what you can see here is the size of these buildings, the footprint, especially the amount of parking that you can have. Once you go a little bit more in here, you're gonna see there's less parking, right? If there's parking, there's really no parking at all, and it's just a full building. I'm glad that we can see in here these buildings with snow. I like them. I really do like them. These buildings. Then we have in here we have low density housing. Again, I wish these two styles would be separated, but it's okay, right? It's fine. I like the fact that now we have more low density options, especially for if you live in the US, especially for or North America in general, or the American continent. Sure. The only thing is that yes, these work better when there's 4 blocks, right, or less, as you can see in here. So these work very well when it's 4 or less. 6, you have issues. They're not. It doesn't build on all the space, which is something that I liked from SimCity. We just fill the little squares with grass, and then you could put trees on it, which is something that you cannot just go in here and say, hey, I want trees, right? You cannot do this, which is, again. And then we have the what is called the row housing here. From the southwest, we have the low density row housing. Again, this is not that common in Texas, as far as I know. Now it is, but I like these buildings. Are fine. I mean, they're not my favorite. I don't like this type of architecture in general, but they're nice. And then we have the medium density buildings. Again, they're nice. It's interesting how they block 3 of these together. Very, very interesting. It has 30 households. And this one has 11, so it makes kind of sense, right? And we have the row housing for the... Well, first of all, yeah, we have the row housing for the northeast. Again, it looks very northeast architecture. I think this looks very to what we see in the movies, in TV shows, in other type of videos. Very like that. And let's do that just for the sake of it. Let's move our firehouse in here. Let's move it here. Right? It doesn't look anything out of place. Of course, this is not where it would normally be, but it just looks amazing. In terms of medium density, I'm partial to these buildings. They're okay. I'm not the biggest fan of these big boxes. I'm more of a fan like these ones, right? They look nice. The brick, that type of architecture is nice. Same thing for here, right? They're just okay. They're nice. And then we go into the mixed zoning, which I think is the you know the thing that works a little bit better. But I would keep the ones from the northeast. I think they look a little bit better, a little bit more realistic. Um, that's what I would put in my city, right? Or more of these, especially because, like I told you, sometimes you get some weird issues with the pathfinding or the paths in here, right? And last but not least, we don't have that many high density buildings for northeast, but we have a lot of them for southwest. And again, I'm not a big fan of these newer architecture buildings. I'm partial to them, but I do love these ones with the brick and the older style buildings. I like them. I love them. I think for me that's the way to go. But in my opinion, the biggest and the best buildings that we have are for the service buildings. And for the southwest, we have, this elementary school works well and it has a lot of good capacity. We can even add more capacity. Let's do it in here. Sure. So this is a great building with not such a big footprint. The police station is nice. The medical clinic is nice. So it's the firehouse. But I think the best service building for the Southwest Pack is the high school. The high school, we could see here, we expanded it. We have a lot of capacity, and you can just keep on adding and adding and adding, as long, of course, as you have enough space. My point is that I feel this is very, very realistic as to something that I've been to, that I've attended, some other people have attended. Of course, this is not how every single high school in Texas is, but it's very, very similar. However, the real winner, I think, of these both region packs is the Northeast pack, especially for buildings with this type of architecture. This is an elementary school and it looks just beautiful. It's an expanded elementary school, right? You also have this really cool medical clinic. You have the police station, and you have the high school, right? All over expandable. And I think the best building, because of the movie, because of the architecture, is definitely this really, really cool fire station, which is the one that you can see, or similar, that you can see in real life in New York, and the one that was used for the Ghostbusters movie. So I know this is a longer video. I just wanted to have both region packs in here before we finish. And this water tower, I think it just looks great. Before we finish, let's make sure that everything's fine. We have a lot of demand for everything, so whatever we decide to do on our next video, which more than likely is going to be an expansion, we have enough money, and unreliable service. So let's just, for the sake of it, add a post office in here. Whoa, now we got 2 large city, which is great, and we have a museum to add, which we should add later on. In here we're gonna add the garage, and we're gonna add mailboxes. And I have seen that adding mailboxes does help with issues with mail, which I think makes sense a little bit. But of course, I wasn't used to that, so we'll work on that later. I just wanted to add something here. And again, you can see we're halfway capacity, so that's something that we definitely need to work on. And hopefully these vans are going out. They're gonna start too. Okay. So our city is growing. Of course, this is more of a grid because, again, we're doing in here. We added the Southwest and Northwest, which is in the US usually you have grids. This is how we ended up with the China region pack. And before we leave, let's just add this in here. Let's add this in here. Okay, so we have one in there, one in here. Okay, so this one is the Southwest region, and this one is gonna be the Northeast region. Okay, so overall, what do I think about both regions? Both are a great addition. I think the best contribution of the Southwest region packs or region pack is the low density housing. I think this is the best addition that we got it. And this really nice high school. Both of them are great additions that I'm sure you're gonna wanna add to your suburbs. They just look great. And from the Northeast region, I think that overall, more than anything, besides the row housing and besides this very specific commercial zoning, low commercial zone, low density, are the service buildings. I think they look great. I think they work great within the city, and especially if you want to start a brand new city and make it like an American style old city where you're gonna have your main square that it's a grid, you will definitely want to build at the very least this high school, because this is a very traditional high school. I don't know about this elementary school, but definitely the high school. And if you are a fan not only of architecture, not only movies, but of Ghostbusters, you definitely are gonna want this building in your city. So I think that overall, it's great to have these two new region packs, the last region packs that were released. I think they're a win. You have medical clinics, you have hospitals, you have fire stations, you have firehouses, you have police stations, you have police headquarters, you have medical clinics and hospitals, you have high schools, elementary schools. I think that it complements the city that you want to build excellently. Of course, we didn't see all the variety of buildings that there are here because not all of them built, and because we didn't have the space. But definitely this is something for you to consider adding into your city. These Southwest and Northeast region packs are worth it. They are of really good quality. The buildings, the service buildings are just great. And overall, all of them, both region packs. And this will help you make your city stand out and be a little bit different. So definitely download these region packs. You'll be gladly surprised. So I do want to thank you for waiting and watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave any comments or suggestions that you may have. As always, thank you, and we'll see each other on our next video. Take care.